Hello friends, my name is Dr. Akshit Mehta. I am Assistant Professor at Center for Police Administration, Punjab University, Chandigarh. And today I would be discussing with you the module titled Administrative Reforms in India Since Independence, Issues and Implementation. We have three broad objectives for this module today. The first objective is to learn about administrative reforms. The second objective is to learn about administrative reforms since independence. And the final objective is to look into the issues in their implementation. Now, friends, you all would agree that as a nation, we have made considerable progress since independence. There have been various administrative reform initiatives also, but there have been at the same time several critical concerns related to the issues in their implementation. Now, issues in implementation do impact upon the kind of initiatives we launch, and ultimately, if the reforms fail to reach the citizens of this nation, then the very purpose of their being attempted is put under a question mark or comes under a scanner. Now, after independence, we began a new journey. The tryst with destiny, the midnight speech given by our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, did put before us a new agenda for development. India was in a very nascent kind of a stage as far as nation is concerned. There were several issues relating to our development, and we ventured into an arena of welfare, broadly looking into the very fundamental and core issues of development and governance. Now, right at the outset, Indian Constitution came out with several issue areas, several steps for making sure that we do venture into a parliamentary governance, the universal adult franchise given to us by wide Article 326 of the Constitution, the parliamentary form of democracy, the very fundamental rights which have been given to us from Article 12 to Article 35 in the Constitution of India. They all have made a considerable attempt in ensuring that we do venture into a reformative kind of a governance. There have been several administrative reform issues which were attempted since independence, and those relate to the formation of various committees and commissions. If simply we look into the various committees and commissions which have been constituted, there is a big list as far as these committees and commissions are concerned, beginning with the Secretariat Reorganization Committee of 1947, which was headed by Girija Shankar Vajpayee. The idea was that the secretarial work could be reorganized in one way, which would lead to an effective and efficient governance system as such. There were committees, like in 1948, we had an economy committee. We had several committees. In 1953 particularly, Paul H. Appleby, a Ford consultant, was hired to suggest some changes as far as Indian administration is concerned. And he did submit two reports which were seen as an agenda for governance reforms in this country. We have had committees looking into the corruption perspective also. In 1964, we had K. Santhanam Committee, which ultimately recommended the creation of Central Vigilance Commission also, and the Central Bureau of Investigation, how it can be strengthened. All these issues were suggested by K. Santhanam Committee of 1964. The most comprehensive administrative reform initiative undertaken in post-independence India was in the year 1966, when the first Administrative Reforms Commission was constituted. Now, this Administrative Reforms Commission, with Shri Morarji Desai as its first chairperson, later on the chairpersonship shifted to K. Hanumanthaiah when Morarji Desai became the Deputy Prime Minister of this country. It sat for the full 4 years and came out with 20-odd reports looking into several facets of administrative reforms in this country. It was followed by some other committees, particularly Kothari Committee, which looked into the All India Services and its examinations. In 1977 period, two important committees set up for reforming administration needs our particular attention. Friends, you all know that Panchayati Raj institutions were ushered into this country as a consequence of Article 40 of the Constitution of India. Balwant Rai Mehta did suggest and recommend strongly a three-tier kind of a structure for Panchayati Raj institutions. In 1957, on 2nd of October, the Panchayati Raj was ushered into India in the state of Rajasthan. In 1977, 20 years down the line, Ashok Mehta Committee was constituted in order to have a review of how Panchayati Raj institutions were performing in this country. Similarly, in 1977, to look into the aspect of reforms in policing, National Police Commission was constituted. This commission is also known by the name of Dharamveera Commission. This commission sat down for 4 years, and between the time period of 1979 to 1981, it came out with 8 comprehensive reports looking into several aspects of policing and tried to reform or usher in the reforms as far as that dimension is concerned. We have had a very important administrative reform initiative in the format of center-state relations. To look into the aspect of center-state relations, Justice R.S. Sarkaria Commission, which tried to delve into the aspect of center and state issues. India being a federal state, or at least a quasi-federal state if we go by Professor K.C. Weir's interpretation, has made several attempts in ensuring that there is a harmony and coordination between center and state. There are some issues of concern between center and state in running this federal structure. And in 1987, this particular Center-State Relations Committee tried to look into those aspects. We have had committees even afterwards. We can refer to an attempt made in 2 crucial years of 1996 and 1997. In 1996, Chief Secretary's Conference was held, in which the agenda was to look into the new tools of governance. From our administration background, probably we can understand that the era of good governance has been ushered in, and there are some tools of good governance, including right to information, citizen charter, electronic governance, and an attempt was made in that Chief Secretary's Conference of 1996 to set the agenda for the same. In 1997, this was followed by a Chief Minister's Conference, and finally, the broad roadmap for implementing this agenda for governance was ushered in. Even afterwards, if you look carefully, the Second Administrative Reforms Commission, which was constituted in the year 2005, tried to set the agenda for reforms in administration again. Administrative Reforms Commission, the Second Administrative Reforms Commission, has come out with 15 reports, starting from right to information and ending up with the report on state and district administration. It has tried to overhaul the administrative lacunas which are in existence and bring in some changes as such. Now, this is a brief overview as far as one of our objective of this module is concerned, which tries to look into those aspects which we have tried as a nation since independence. Now, the third broad objective for today's module is to look into the issues and implementation of administrative reforms. As I shared right at the outset, that it is not that we have not tried administrative reforms in this country, but the problem or the gray area has been their implementation. And on account of lack of proper implementation of these administrative reforms, as a nation, we have suffered and we continue to face these challenges. Let's look into these issues in implementation. I've tried to divide them into 4 broad categories. One being the political issues, the second being administrative issues, the third social issues, and fourth, the miscellaneous issues or host of other issues which we can probably think of. Now, when we talk about the very first category of issues in implementation, the political issues, the first point which comes directly to our mind is lack of political will. Now, as a student in our previous classes also, when we were young, whenever there used to be a question on any problem which the country is facing, the first answer which used to come from us as a student used to be the lack of political will. And we used to say that, okay, things can work in this country, but it is probably the will on the part of the politicians is lacking as such. There is a need for them to be sensitized before the agenda for governance could be ushered in this country. We have seen that several key attempts in this country have simply not given results or have not seen the light of the day. Lokpal, for that matter, comes directly to our mind. Now, these ombudsman institutions were right away suggested by the first Administrative Reforms Commission. And as I said, 1966 to 1970 is the time period of the first Administrative Reforms Commission. So from that period onwards, even till today, 2016, we are yet to see the Lokpal institutions being effectively working in this country. Yes, Lok Ayuktas as such at the state level have come into being, but Lokpal as a federal, central kind of an institution is yet to see the light of the day. And that is really a worrisome kind of a factor. We have seen a huge movement in the time period of 2012, 13, 14 for ushering in Lokpal and Lok Ayuktas in this country, but probably because of the lack of political will, it is yet to see the light of the day. The second is that there is a lack of understanding between the different political parties. Uh, the dispute between political parties about the administrative reforms as such. Now in India, thankfully, we have a very vibrant, plural kind of a democratic structure where multiple parties do come into picture, do compete, and they do try to put across their own ideological moorings. But at the same time, this very difference between the political parties emerges as a roadblock as far as political push for the administrative reforms is concerned. We have seen n number of recommendations of one political party being rejected by the other political party as such. We have seen in the past that, for example, if I can quote one particular police commission, the National Police Commission of 1977, it was a very turbulent kind of a time period in India's political history. India had internal emergency in place, and during that internal emergency, this initiative was being, as a consequence of the internal emergency, the new government brought in National Police Commission. But unfortunately, by the time the Police Commission came out with its set of recommendations, we had a change in government. Now, change in government or change in political party in power resulted in all the recommendations of the NPC being simply ignored. We call it to put it in cold storage. So, recommendations of one committee appointed by one political party or one government for that matter is simply ignored, put into cold storage by the another political party which comes to power. And this has been a very sad aspect of India's otherwise very robust and mature kind of a democracy. I would qualify and say that probably India is yet to emerge as a very vibrant and mature democracy, and it would be known to be a very vibrant and mature democracy only if and if only the political parties at least have semblance of some agreement as far as the key administrative reforms in this country are concerned. It's fine that some political party would be constituting a commission, but the other political party which comes to power has to take into consideration the merits of those recommendations. After all, everyone in the administration, every political party, all are working for nation building, and nation is supreme. So everyone who comes out with a set of recommendations, those recommendations needs to be looked into in a very constructive kind of a manner. So this is a very fundamental stumbling block and an issue in the implementation of administrative reforms. That is the difference between political parties, the lack of agreement between political parties, the fight between the different political parties at the same time. The third aspect is that there is an absence of responsibility being fixed as far as the reforms are concerned. If reforms have been launched, someone has come out with a set of ideas, then who is responsible for implementing the same? Many a times very big and broad kind of reforms are put before the country, but they fail to see the light of the day because we do not fix the responsibility for its implementation. The problem is in implementation. So if tomorrow a bureaucrat, a set of people do not deliver justice, do not do justice to the reforms which have been pushed out there, they need to be held accountable for them. They need to be made responsible for implementation, or they should be held accountable for their failure to implement the same kind of administrative reforms. Unfortunately, this is a serious issue as far as implementing administrative reforms in this country is concerned. People who have been given the charge of implementing them have not been made accountable for them. And we again know from our administrative understanding that when you do not fix responsibility, the task does not get done. Or when you give a responsibility to everyone, then it becomes no one's responsibility as such. So this is another critical or key area as far as issue in implementation is concerned, particularly looking into the political side. Now the second broad dimension or the broad category of issues is the administrative issues. And the first administrative issue which comes to our mind is that of the administrative lack of will. The political lack of will is one dimension, as I mentioned earlier, but the administrative lack of will is another dimension which always needs to be looked into very carefully. There is a tendency on the part of several administrators to resist change, to remain as a status quoist. There is no automatic kind of an inducement or motivation which emerges from the administrators that they have to perform, and they need to make it sure that the idea which has been put across by the political parties or by the government as such needs to be implemented in its correct letter and spirit. So the administrative resistance, the status quoist approach, the lack of their motivation, that all ensures that the idea of administrative reforms will not be implemented. If it will be implemented, it will be implemented in a very poor kind of or a shoddy kind of a manner as such. So this is one administrative issue in implementation which I can think of. The second issue as far as the administrative ideas or issues in implementation is concerned is the bureaucratic stranglehold as far as administration is concerned. Bureaucracy is a very powerful instrument of governance. It has held a lot of leverage as far as the power circles in this country are concerned, and they do make it sure as far as delaying a thing is concerned or pushing a thing is concerned, because everything would depend upon them. The very idea of subordinate legislation or delegated legislation also puts before us this idea that if bureaucracy does not wish to implement an administrative reform, it will suggest a very weak kind of rules and regulations for the overall legislative framework which has been suggested by the parliament as such. So their stranglehold over the entire system, the manner in which they can delay, they can push, they can confuse as far as that legislative will is concerned, needs to be addressed as far as administration is concerned. Social issues is the third broad category as far as administrative reforms is concerned. And within the broad category of social issues, the first thing which comes to our mind straight away is the communication gap, the gap between the government and people. Government has very noble ideas and intentions. It wants them to be implemented, and people would be the ultimate beneficiaries of all those administrative initiatives or reforms which are being put forth by the government of the day. But it is the communication between the two. If government fails to sensitize the people about the virtues of the administrative reforms which it is suggesting, it will be a problematic issue, it will be an area of concern, and virtually the implementation would start suffering. Because by and large, the will of the people, their participation, voluntary participation into the administrative reform initiatives would ensure proper kind of an implementation of these reforms. So if people are not voluntarily chipping in, and they will not voluntarily chip in, or they will not support the government initiatives, if they not understand the very rationale or philosophy of the administrative reforms which are being suggested as such. So this communication needs to be looked into. It's a huge issue as far as the implementation of administrative reforms is concerned. The second social issue, which is very much related to the first issue, is the lack of awareness of the public about these administrative reforms. Many a times, government have launched very good administrative reform initiatives, but people have not understood them, and thereby people have not exercised themselves in order to make sure that government of the day keeps moving on the right track. You can come out with several key initiatives. For example, if I can quote one reform initiative which emerged from two important administrative reform initiatives of 1996 and 1997, the Chief Secretaries Conference as well as the Chief Ministers Conference, they tried to put across in this country a concept called Citizens Charter. By Citizens Charter, an idea was that every service delivery organization will become more and more accountable, it will give deadlines, it will give timelines for the services to be offered to the citizens as such. And it became almost an obligation on all public sector enterprises and organizations to put before the citizens of this country in a very transparent kind of a manner the kind of services which it is offering to them, the timeline within which these services have to be offered, and what if those services are not offered within a given timeline. So what would be the grievance redressal mechanism or machinery if things do not work out well within a given time frame. Now this Citizen Charter initiative, slowly with the passage of time, lost its way. People were not aware. People did not knew that there is an obligation on the part of the service delivery organizations to do so. As a result, slowly and slowly you will find that not many organizations, public organizations, are displaying citizen charter. It would be a very interesting kind of a question to be put to you, to just go and find out in your nearby bank or insurance office, or for that matter to a post office, and have a look whether your organizations are displaying their citizen charters or not. You will understand that because of our lack of awareness as citizens of this country, these initiatives have not become strengthened as they should have normally been. The fourth broad category of administrative reform issues and implementation is the miscellaneous issues, or a host of issues which go beyond the political, administrative, and social realm. Uh, these would cover ideas like whether the implementation of the administrative reforms has suffered on account of they being too idealistic and too theoretical. Many a times it is seen and it is observed, and people do complain, that the administrative reforms are suggested by committees and commissions sitting in their chambers out there somewhere else without having an understanding about the ground realities. The reform initiatives being proposed by the committees and commissions are way away from the actual ground level situation, and as a result, they are bound to fail while implementing. Now, should every administrative reform initiative try to be as idealistic as possible? Should they remain theoretical in nature, or should there be an attempt to come or make them closer to the practical aspect of the administration? These are some critical areas which needs to be looked into whenever we would be referring about the issues in implementation. Many a times, these committees and commissions are headed by people who have been very good officers, but they are past their prime. The retired people, the people who do not know actually what is going on at the ground level currently, they do come out with some idealistic and theoretical kind of an ideas, and again they suffer when these ideas have to be implemented at the ground level. So it's again an important issue as far as implementation is concerned. The second miscellaneous issue which I would like to discuss with you is the issue of corruption. Now, corruption is seen as the most major stumbling block as far as India's development is concerned. It is such a big mess and such a big problem that it has been, in some of the examples, been correlated to that being like a hydra-headed monster. A monster which has got so many multiple heads, and you do not have any kind of a control over this issue. So how do you cope up with this problem of the corruption? There have been several attempts in overcoming corruption, but this remains as a key area which has tried to fail the implementation aspect of the administrative reforms. Now, administrative reforms would fail if there are leakages. Administrative reforms will fail if the people who are manning those reforms do not have the right kind of integrity as such, their honesty is being compromised, then people will suffer. And all the noble ideas which are enshrined in the administrative reforms will be of no use if people will have to pay money, will have to bribe. Then this entire idea of implementing the administrative reforms would get defeated. And it's precisely actually why the reforms are getting defeated. Corrupt practices, deliberately created by bureaucrats, deliberately created by those people who are bound to get some benefits out of them, is one of the major stumbling blocks as far as implementing administrative reforms in this country is concerned. So friends, towards the end of this module, let's have a look or recap of the entire aspect of this module with an idea to draw some vital conclusions or concluding observations from this module. Now, administrative reform is important. It's vital. It is absolutely essential for ensuring that the country is put on the rapid mode of development as such. We do need to bring about several key changes as far as the structure, procedures, as well as the behavior of the individuals working in administration is concerned. There are several stumbling blocks as far as administrative reforms in this country are concerned, ranging from political lack of will, lack of administrative will, There have been several issue areas of communication lacking between the government and the people. The awareness level of the citizens in any country does have an impact upon the pace of the administrative reforms as such. And there are vested interests who deliberately wish that administrative reforms do not get pushed in this country. There are issues of corruption. There are issues which go beyond our normal day understanding, because administrative reforms probably are many a times created far away from the ground realities. So it's absolutely essential as a nation for us to concentrate our energies on ensuring that not only new ideas are put before us, but at the same time, those ideas are implemented effectively and people are held accountable for whether the pace of the implementation is good enough or whether there is something which is stopping the quick pace of implementation of administrative reforms in this country. So, a people centric approach, a positive political will, administrative support for these reforms, an attempt by the administration and governance to weed off corruption in our country, to enhance the level of awareness of the citizens, making them understand the rationale as well as the philosophy of administration. These are all critical areas which are required as far as implementation of administrative reforms in this country is concerned. And we all would agree that it is not only about administrative reforms being announced. It is very important that the announcement is followed by key critical steps as such. So walking the talk is as much important as mere announcements of administrative reforms. I'm sure that as a nation, if we concentrate upon these issues in implementation, if we come out with strategies to overcome these issues in implementation of administrative reforms, we would soon be ushering a very faster mode of administrative reforms in this country. We would be ushering in an era of administrative reforms in this country, which would be closer to the ideal of good governance. Thank you so much.